Sure. Jello, we're back for week 5. Is it week 5 or 6? 6.
Week 6, buddy. They go quick.
Welcome back, everybody. We're well into the second quarter. Um, Coming off a nice solid week last week, 3-2. Couple regrets, but a winning week is a winning week. And maintaining our 60% average on the year. So I'm pretty psyched about that. We got a ways to go to get to 70, but we're on the right side of 50%. That's the good news.
Yeah, you and I both knew we were in trouble when we found out Dick Butkus died the day of the Bears game the other night, and you called me and said you think we should switch off this in the contest. I didn't realize that we could have done that, even though clearly we had taken the pick on the podcast already. So I kind of felt strange about it. But yeah, there's no way he was going to let the Bears lose that game.
Yeah. So our score basically, so what's our record for the season?
15-10.
So yeah, we're 15 out of 25.
Yeah, we're 60%.
And just so you know, the leader, who is currently in first place is 22 out of 25. So they're 88%. And
oh my God.
$12,000, but that's not sustainable.
That's pretty unbelievable. Good for him.
Yeah, we know that. But that does show us that we are 7 games out of first place. So, but you know what's interesting?
It's a lot of wood to chop.
The next highest after that guy who's in first, in second place is 17 out of 20. Oh, these people have used their skip week already. That's why. So we have to skip 1 week.
I think we should skip the final week of the season because that's when guys are resting and all that stuff. We discussed this. I think that makes the most sense.
Right. I agree. Okay. Let's jump into the card, everybody, and crack at it. Tonight we got a game. Denver is at home. The Chiefs are at home playing the lowly Denver Broncos, who went down against our Jets last week. Denver's getting 10.5. Is that enough for this game? I heard there's going to be a lot of wind. That's a factor.
Yeah, the weather's going to be an issue. It's going to be, I think, wet and windy. I think Denver obviously can't stop the run. So you expect big things out of Pacheco and maybe even McKinnon tonight. I think Kelsey's going to play. The knee, he was kind of questionable all week, but he's leaning toward playing from what I've read. So the thing with this game is, and you always say it, is these division games. I mean, 10.5, Kansas City doesn't seem to cover big spreads against anyone, although they did get away with one in Minnesota last week. So these games are always hard for me. I don't seem to do well on Thursday night games, but I mean, I could see Kansas City winning this game like 27-6 or 27-10. So I think they're going to run the ball, control the clock, and I think they'll do just enough in the end to cover the spread.
Do you have any good trend data on this matchup in particular? I don't, but isn't it usually a close game, or am I wrong about that?
Well, Mahomes is 12-0 against Denver. He's never lost.
What about ATS stuff or anything like that?
Against the spread, there have been some close games, and then there's also been some blowouts. So it's
Yeah.
really hard. It's kind of indecisive with the trend stuff. I don't think Denver's ever had as bad of a defense as they had this year in the history since I've been alive. So I think with that kind of stuff, historical stuff, you can kind of throw it out the book. I did see also today that Jerry Jeudy, who's the best receiver on Denver, is being dangled in trade talks.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how that is going to have him respond in a game like tonight. I know that I have him on my bench. I will not start a guy, with that kind of stuff going on. But I just think, Mahomes has a great record against Denver. There have been some good contests, but I think the Chiefs defense has been playing a lot better. And offensively, I don't see how Denver's going to slow them down.
So you like the Chiefs?
I do.
Yeah, me too. I'm not going to really read too much into this. The Denver, according to my numbers, has the worst defense in the league.
No doubt.
I actually thought the Jets left so many points on the field last week.
They sure did.
They absolutely should have killed them. They kept kicking field goals.
Yeah, they were in the red zone like 5 times. They only got field goals.
If the Chiefs get down there, they're going to score.
Yes.
Touchdowns. So I don't know. And Wilson has lost a step. I know the Chiefs defense isn't as good as the Jets, but it's still I have them top 10. I'm with you. I think and I know I said this last week or the week before. I don't usually like the Chiefs laying big numbers, but
You don't. I'm surprised that you're not taking Denver, honestly.
no, I'm not doing it. I don't. It's just sort of like you talk about swimming upstream or get in front of a train. Like that would be taking Denver tonight as far as I'm
If
concerned.
Denver was at home getting 10.5, I think you'd be more inclined.
Yeah, or even 7.5. Like I'd
Yeah.
be okay. You got a home dog in front of a national audience. And I know it's a division game, so that gives me a little bit of pause, but I'm on the Chiefs.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, so everybody, new format. We're not going to make our official final picks tonight. Cello and I talked about it, and we are going to narrow it down, and we'll give you our consensus plays by the end. But in terms of our top five, we're going to reserve that for probably Saturday evening, maybe Sunday morning, and that'll be on our website, on our blog, and in the newsletter that goes out to all the members. So if you want to get the newsletter, all you have to do is register at wantomakeabet.com, and we'll put you on the list. And that's when we're going to make our final call because it's too fluid with a lot of these injuries statuses, and
Yep.
people make their final rosters really sometimes by Saturday night and
Yeah,
oftentimes not
people get hurt during the
game
week in
day.
practice. You don't know
Yeah.
who's going to play, who's not going to play till the very end of the week, and a lot of that stuff doesn't come out until the end of the week. So we don't want to be at a disadvantage anymore. We're going to wait and really firm it up, and then put it out in the newsletter. So you guys will all get our consensus picks. If you're interested in following them, last year we were 70%. This year so far, off to that 15-10 start at 60%, and looking to build on that, this week going forward.
Yeah. And one thing we will say is that it will be one of our consensus picks. So it's not going to be like we're going to just come out of left field with some game. Like it's if we agree on the podcast, then that's officially a candidate. And we likely have more than 5 games that we both agree on. So
Yeah,
that's
I
going to
agree.
be fun. All right.
Good.
All right. So we're both on the Chiefs. Let's move on to the second game, which is none other than the weekly London game. Baltimore, interestingly, I heard they flew out tonight. I think they're going to arrive
Smart.
a few days early, so get acclimated. Even though they're not playing a team that's been sitting there for 10 days like the Jags were last week. But
What an advantage that was for Jacksonville, and I knew it. I was all over them.
that was a
Um,
great call. Great call. I regret not joining you on that one because that was just like an easy winner.
it
And
was tough for
even
Buffalo. Lost a lot of players too to injury, man, that week. Man, Milano's out for an
yeah,
extended period of time. Another defender they lost is on IR. He's not coming back for a while. They both had surgery this week, and they already are missing. As we know, Tre'Davious White is out for the year, so they're banged up, Buffalo. But luckily for them, they get an even more banged up team in the New York Giants coming in this Sunday night, who
yeah.
can't seem to do anything right. So
And what about Baltimore's health?
I think,
Very,
listen, I really like, listen, I have a lot of respect for Vrabel and obviously for Derrick Henry and those teams, and I think they play a lot of close games. I really like Baltimore coming in here off a Steeler loss. I think, like, to me, and I think I mentioned this earlier in the year, these rivalry games are so important that a lot of times when you win them, it's really hard to get up to that level the following week, and that's when you have a letdown week. But if you're the loser in a game like that, and let's face it, Baltimore receivers had probably the worst day of their lives. I mean, I cannot believe how many passes they dropped,
mm-hmm.
that Lamar threw right into their hands, including 2 touchdowns that they absolutely dropped. So I think they're going to be seething mad. I don't care where they're playing. I'm taking Baltimore minus the 4.5. I think they're going to put it on Tennessee pretty good here.
Yeah. It's funny. I agree, Chell. For a lot of the same reasons, I can't seem to figure out which Tennessee team is going to show up on a weekly basis. I'm not as big of a fan of Vrabel as you are.
Okay.
I question his coaching decisions often, and there's nothing worse than betting on that guy when they start losing. When he's just standing there, that fucking vest on, and you just want to smash a lamp over his head, and he's standing there like all stoic, like he's
Yeah.
one of like he's Tom Landry or George Hallis. You're
Kind of
not.
grabs his chin. He's like rubbing
Yeah,
his chin.
you're not. What are you thinking about? Why don't you coach? Why don't you say something into the fucking microphone and coach
It's
instead of
interesting
standing there with that dumbfounded look
that
on your
that
face?
you're bashing that guy despite the Ohio State University lineage.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
He was a good player for you.
he was great and good for him, but he's not a Hall
You
of
don't
Fame
love him as a
player.
coach. You don't love
Not
him
a
as a
Hall of
coach.
Fame player, and he's not a Hall of Fame coach. He won't be either. And he's had very questionable calls in the playoffs. And I don't know what he's getting out of this team on a weekly basis. Like you just don't know who's going to show up.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Lamar, listen, the Baltimore offense has been a bit of a quandary this year because of all the changes and the new coordinator and the new system. And everyone's kind of waiting for Baltimore to really start getting it going. And, listen, they lost to Pittsburgh last weekend, and what I thought was kind of a miracle game for Pittsburgh to come back. I mean, you get Joey Porter makes the interception in the end zone after the muffed punt. I mean, it's pretty much a game over there. You know what I'm saying? I was
Yeah.
surprised Lamar even threw the ball up like that on a one-on-one to OBJ, but the kid made a great pick, Pickens to Pickett, Pickett to Pickens, and the next thing the Ravens have lost, even though I thought, they dominated the game. They also did, I thought, a pretty stupid thing coaching wise. Before the end of the half, they were in the red zone and they went for it on a 4th and 5 inside the 20 instead of just having Tucker come out and put
Yeah.
them up 13-0,
Hmm.
which I would have done. But they chose to go for it. And it was 10-0 at the half, in a half where they completely dominated. And all of a sudden, the Steelers were getting the ball out of the tunnel. So, I say, Todd and I say this all the time. And it's funny. These coaches hate points.
Yeah.
It's remarkable how many points they don't take.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm going to stick with Baltimore. I just think that this could be a big week for them, for the offense to get going. There were a lot of guys open last week. I don't think Tennessee covers particularly well on the back end, and they have some injuries as well. So Baltimore can stop the run. That's one thing they're good at. So I don't see how Tennessee is going to have a lot of success in this game.
Yeah. I'm with you. All right. We agree on both first two games.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Washington is at Atlanta. They're getting 2.5. Desmond Ritter has still not lost a home game.
That's
Will
amazing.
will that trend continue this week?
It's hard to say. I mean, Atlanta plays much better football at home, as we know, and the kid Bijan's incredible. I kind of think Washington, they got caught almost sleepwalking through the first half of that Bears game. I mean, I was
I
I
know,
was
and that's what
texting
scares
you.
me about this game is that I don't think their front four can have a a repeat performance of what they did against the Bears.
Oh, I'd be surprised if they did. They were much better in the second half of that game. They just couldn't close the gap.
Yeah.
And of course, they still have a young quarterback who makes a lot of mistakes. So
Yeah.
it's really interesting in this spot though. I kind of like Washington here with the 2.5. I see this game sort of similar to the game Atlanta just played Houston, where if the Atlanta does win, it's going to be by 1 or 2 points. Very similar to how they pulled it out with their kicker against the Texans. So give me the 2.5. Give me Washington. I don't love them, but I can't imagine them playing as poorly as they played in the first half last week. And Atlanta is. I'm not going to put them in an upper echelon of the league. I think they're a middle of the pack team. One week they win, the next week they lose, and I think this is their turn to lose.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to take Atlanta. Very similar thoughts. It's going to be a no bet for me, and it's not a bet I would ever want to put into a contest. These are, I have Atlanta ranked 25th and Washington ranked 26th in
Yeah,
my
these are
power
not good
ratings.
teams.
Yeah, these are bottom of the half, bottom half of the league. They're ranked very similarly for me, so I'm not surprised. Small edge here to Atlanta, but just because of Ritter's home performance and the team plays well at home. But aside from that, I have a future ticket on Atlanta, which I don't have a lot of hope for, given how the Saints have been playing
And Tampa.
to win the NFC South and
And
Tampa.
yeah.
But in a game with a coin toss like this, I'll take the home team and assume Ritter will continue his home stretch.
All right. Agree to disagree.
Okay. Next game, San Francisco at Cleveland. Interesting line here we have in the contest is San Francisco -5.5 when current market has them laying anywhere from 6 to 8.
It's 8.5 at Caesars right now, which tells me that Deshaun Watson's out.
Yeah.
So you're
Um,
riding PJ Walker. Um, for us, I really liked Cleveland in the real world. The line is really more like 7. And if I'm getting 8.5, even though it's PJ Walker, I'm inclined to take Cleveland there. But if we're going to be dealing with a 3-point difference with our line in the contest, I mean, I would have to almost say we should take San Fran, but this is going to be a very, very tough game for San Fran. I think. I think this is the best defense they'll face all year. Um, and they're coming. They're on the road, and Cleveland is not an easy place to play. It's windy. It's cold. It's they let the grass grow thick there. It's a slow track. So I
yeah,
I I just I think it's going to be a closer game than most people think. Um,
interesting.
so I don't know what to say about this game. At 8.5, I like Cleveland. At 5.5, I like San Fran. I think it's just a no bet for me.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, I'm a Cleveland fan. I know the team well, and part of me is still scratching my head why Deshaun isn't playing in this game. It's honestly like I don't know if he's truly hurt or if he's just saying, I hate to say it, but fuck it, I'm not coming back and playing the 49ers. I'd rather come back next week, which is as crazy as that sounds. I honestly I don't rule that out. That if his shoulder is still a little sore, he doesn't want to be facing uh Nick Bosa,
I
and
understand.
that defense.
Of course.
Um, so that crossed my mind, and and on the flip side, I think there's still a chance that he may play. Tomorrow's practice will be very interesting. If he doesn't take any snaps again like he did last week, um, and we'll find that out, I guess, through our sources, we'll know, and maybe it's already been decided. But the other thing is, I agree with you that this is an interesting game. If Cleveland, I mean, San Francisco's weakness on defense, if there is one, is against the run. It's not against the pass, and we're going to run the ball
Yeah.
even without Nick Chubb. That's what we do, and
Yeah.
especially without Deshaun there. So and PJ Walker is definitely an upgrade from
A
DTR.
veteran. Yeah,
He's
he's
a
a
veteran.
veteran.
He's a big upgrade from DTR, and everyone got excited about DTR because he played well in the preseason. Rookie from UCLA, blah 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 blah. They put up against real NFL starters, and he threw 3 interceptions.
Yeah, that's what
So
they do.
PJ Walker has played in the league before. He's good. Not good, but he's serviceable, let's say. But I really think with our defense, okay, and this being a bit of a trap game, they're coming off an emotional win.
I agree with that. I think this could
This
be a
all
trap
this
game.
this this whole game to me, and the weather could be shitty, which I don't think we've ever seen um uh
Purdy.
Purdy playing anything but a nice sunny game with that sunny face of his. And
Yeah.
if he comes into Cleveland with wind and rain on a Sunday,
Oh
okay,
God.
in a game that they could give a shit about, and they get into let's call it a negative game state, and the Browns suddenly are up 7-0, and all we're doing is running the ball, and with our defense, they could lose the game to us, you
Yeah.
know. But I'll say this: if the Browns get behind in this game, if PJ Walker throws an interception and we get down in this game, we are going to get blown out. It's a fact. Like I can see it unfolding. We'll be out of the game will be over by halftime.
I
And
don't
that
know.
could
Listen,
very easily happen.
I don't. I kind of think the way it's going to go is this: you have to stop um
McCaffrey.
CMAC. If
Yeah.
you stop McCaffrey and you force Purdy to make throws in that what I think is going to be sort of a nasty, windy type of day.
Mhm.
Cleveland is not an easy place to throw the ball historically. You don't get those nice sunny days that you're talking about that
No,
he
I know.
used to playing in. And your defense gets after people. I mean, I
Yeah.
have you guys in the top 3 overall in total defense. Number 1 actually going into last week. So, I think you can hold San Francisco. The question, if anybody can, it would be, I think, you guys off of the high that they're on and smashing Dallas at home and everyone talking about how great they are. this is part of the NFL that makes it hard. Now you got to go on the road. You're playing a non-conference opponent that you
Yeah.
probably don't know all that much about. And I'm not going to say they're not going to be prepared because the coach is amazing, but
Mhm.
this is a place where they could get picked off if they don't pay attention. I
Yeah.
wish Deshaun was playing
I
because
see it more of a game where, yes, all of that being true, where San Francisco's at the end just going to be just let's get out of here with a win. And just like, and that's why I was very eager when, before this Deshaun thing, I was like, I wonder if we're going to be getting 3 or 3.5 when this first came out. Because I was like, if it's 3.5, I'm going to take Cleveland. And three, I'll probably, and now look where we are right now in this market.
I know.
Eight.
I
So,
don't
so
think, you know what? We should stop talking about this game because we're not taking it in the
yeah.
contest. So let's just forget about it.
Well,
I'm gonna take Cleveland and Wano plus 8.5.
okay.
At the very least, I'll tease it up to 14.5.
Yeah, and we reserve the right to look. I think we both like San Francisco at 5.5, right? And barring any major Deshaun news, I would be tempted to take that in the contest because I
I'm not
think that
so sure about that. I think San
okay,
Francisco, this game's gonna be a lot closer than people think.
okay. So you're on Cleveland,
Yep.
even with the 5.5.
Yes. Although, yes, I am.
Okay. Carolina, another double digit. They were double digit dog last week, double digit dog. We had them. We bet against them last week in Detroit. Are we betting against them this week in Miami?
100%. No one can slow. I know that the running back Khan is out. He's out for I think the year, which
Yeah.
is
Oh, is
really
that right?
sad. Yeah.
Uh,
I think they put him on IR. So that really kind of sucks for them. They still have obviously Mostert and they have another kid behind them, obviously. But listen, I mean, Miami at home, that offense is really, really tough to deal with, man. And Carolina, I think, is the worst team in the league. So I said it last week. Carolina might not win a game.
well, I
And
disagree with that. They did the same thing last year where they were just so bad at the beginning and then they woke up. I don't know if you remember, but they woke up and started winning games in the middle of the season and they were like one of the best bets from like that point forward. Are they going to do that again
well, that
this
was
year?
with PJ Walker, right?
It was.
Now they got this rookie
Um,
quarterback who's still learning. I mean, I think Miami's just going to continue to feast on these bottom feeders.
yeah.
I mean, they didn't even play well against the Giants and they pounded them.
My God. I mean that game, and that's what gives me a little bit of pause
They
here.
threw a pick
That I
six like
actually don't think that Carolina is as bad as the Giants because the mistakes that Miami made in that
in the
game.
first half.
What if you throw a pick six in the end zone in this league?
It's a
You
100-yard return.
most of the time you lose the game.
Yeah, it showed a
And they were
lot of
just
resolve.
like sustaining these blunders and covering double digit lines against the Giants. Like it didn't even matter that he threw a pick six in the end. He threw two interceptions, a
That's how
horrible
bad the Giants
interception.
defense is. And listen, Miami's offense is super special. They can turn it on and score pretty much whenever they want. And I think this is a similar type game. 38-17, 38-20. They're too much. I'm taking Miami.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm just a little nervous. Just like I was last week. When I saw that play, there were three plays that I saw in that game. I was like, oh, well, there goes the cover. There's no way. And they just came right back and scored again. It
Yeah,
was really
the Giants are really just inept here because and we'll talk about it this Sunday night game, but until they get Andrew Thomas back and Saquon, they don't even have a chance to be competitive.
yeah.
And those guys are out this week again, I think.
Yep.
So we're both on Miami.
Okay. Seattle, interesting game. Is at the Bengals, only getting 2.5. You think this
Wow.
goes to three? Or has it already? I'm it's like people weren't sold on that performance against Arizona, or they think that Seattle's this good. Like this line is kind of confounding to me.
Listen, I have been really suspect of Joe Burrow all year and the calf because he just didn't look right to me for a long time. Last week, he kind of really impressed me. I mean, he started just going back to Jamar Chase, and Jamar Chase is going to match up with that rookie kid Witherspoon this weekend, and that is going to be, I think his name is Witherspoon, the fifth pick overall that Seattle had, who had
Yeah.
the pick six against the Giants that night. He's
Yeah.
been super impressive. So, you know, I think it's going to take something from T. Higgins is going to have to show up and Boyd, but I really like what Burrow's doing now. He seemed a lot healthier to me last week. And I think Cincinnati's going to get right here and even their record out to 3-3. So Seattle's tough. They'll it's not going to be a blowout. They'll be in the game, but I think Cincinnati's going to do enough to win this game by 3, and we're only laying 2.5. So I'll
Yeah.
take Cincinnati here.
Uh, I like Seattle.
You like them in your heart as a team. I know you do.
No, no, I'm just looking at my numbers. I have the Bengals ranked 24th right now, and Seattle is ranked 8th. I just can't bring myself to do it, Chell. I'm not impressed with that win against Arizona. I think the game was closer than the final score. And
But Arizona's been tough all year. And
I know,
and
but
and so
on
how
paper
could you
they're
be
not.
you're saying you were impressed with Seattle beating up on a bad Giant team that moved them up in your rankings so much?
No, no. I'm saying I wasn't that impressed by the Cincinnati win.
Right,
Like
but you
to be
said
like, oh, okay, they're
Seattle's eighth in your rankings. The only reason they're that high is because they just beat up on the Giants and had 11 sacks. Otherwise, 2 weeks ago, Seattle was in the 20s in your
that's not
ranking.
true. They beat. Don't forget, they beat the Lions.
It's their only signature win of the year.
It's a pretty damn good win.
Yeah.
They had one bad. I mean, they've lost one game. They lost to the Rams, who I don't consider to be that bad. Um, and I just think that, and I guess this is a tough game. I actually think the 2.5 points is going to matter. But either way, I'm not sold on Cincy. I think they have a lot of problems. I think Mixon is not good. I think they can't block. Um, and I think that to me, Cincinnati did not like shake off their bad reputation with that win against Arizona. I'll take Seattle.
I thought they did. I mean, I thought Jamar Chase had about 12 catches and 3 touchdowns. I mean, what else do you want the guy to do? Joe
Well,
Burrow was
he played
throwing
great.
lasers.
Yeah, he
I
played
thought
great.
Burrow looked great. And I think Arizona is better than advertised, like we've been saying all year. They're not the worst team in the league. They play hard. And you got to give the coach credit for that, and we do. But Arizona, to me, at home, maybe not impressed with Cincinnati because they didn't actually blow them out. But that was the best game Cincinnati played this year. And I like that momentum coming home and a chance to even up their record. They see what's going on in the AFC North. They can't afford to go 2-4. And Seattle's a good team and not a great team. Seattle's an NFC team that's probably at least the second best team in that division, maybe even the third. They already lost to the Rams, and they're coming in, and I think Cincinnati is going to have a lot of mojo in that game. The only thing I would keep an eye on is that matchup. That matchup's going to be very intriguing because that
Yeah.
kid's going to be on Jamar Chase the whole day.
Yep.
I think this is a game where Geno Smith is going to be forced into some mistakes from Cincinnati's defense. I think they could rush the passer. And I think Geno, we all know Geno can be Geno sometimes, right? We've seen him do it. I think this is one of those kind of games on the road where he throws that critical interception or the strip sack fumble that changes the game. And Cincinnati's got a tremendous kicker, McPherson, who almost never misses. And I'm laying 2.5. I like Cincinnati.
Okay. Agree to disagree.
Yep.
Um, Colts at Jags. Colts are catching 4.5. Our first sort of rematch,
With
divisional rematch. Jags won the
Gardner
game week
Minshew.
1. Yep.
Gardner Minshew starting. Richardson's out for a month,
Yeah.
which I didn't see it, but Greeny said this morning that when he saw it live, he thought he broke his collarbone. But
Hmm.
it's just an AC joint. So he's going to be out for a month. I think Minshew's the best backup in football. So I don't think that's a huge drop off.
He
And I
killed us
also,
last week, by the way.
what's that?
He killed us in that game
Oh,
against
yeah.
Tennessee. It was like I wanted Richardson to be in the game because he's just so much more of a loose cannon. Minshew, I agree with you. He plays well.
Where is this game in Jacksonville?
Yeah.
All right. So they flew home after 2 weeks in London. They're home and they're playing a divisional team. They already beat them in their building early in the year. First half was a struggle. They got better. Jonathan Taylor's back. I mean, it's 4.5, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Colts with the 4.5. I think this is a close game. Could go either way. It would not surprise me if the Colts won the game. Jacksonville off 2 big wins in London. And that travel, I think, matters. And maybe if they do win, I don't think they win big.
Yeah. I'm with you, by the way. I feel exactly the same way. I'm not sold on Jacksonville. I don't I don't think that win was that impressive against Buffalo. I think it was more just sort of Buffalo not showing up. And every time Buffalo, it's like they blew themselves up in that
Totally.
game. They just kept moving the ball down the field, and suddenly they didn't score and didn't kick the field goal and didn't this, didn't. I
Yeah.
mean, it's all on them. You know what I mean?
Didn't.
Yeah. So
Yeah, they sabotaged themselves, and the guy on the radio on Sirius, the Bills broadcaster, basically said that the Bills just can't get out of their own way today. It's basically
yeah,
how he
I
described it.
was so I watched a lot of that Tennessee game, and they were, believe it or not, their defense was in pretty decent position to make plays. And this guy Zach Moss
Oh,
was just,
he's great.
I mean, just outplaying everyone who was pursuing him. He was so fast. And they have
Yeah,
Jonathan Taylor, who at a certain point is going to contribute and get
they're
and
yeah
start those two, that 1-2 punch.
they're working him back in. I mean, Taylor's not really physically ready to go last week, so he'll probably get some more touches. He's on a pitch count, but Zach Moss has been a revelation for them.
Yeah. And I agree. Like the fact that this is a division game and it's your basically your last chance to get the Jags and have a seat at the table in the division race. It's like you basically have to win this game if you're the Colts. And I
And
think they'll be there.
here's another angle that I just thought of that you didn't think of either is that Minshew was a Jaguar before Trevor,
Right.
and they dumped him because they knew they were drafting Trevor.
Oh my
This
God.
is a
Do I
revenge.
love
This
that
is
angle?
a revenge angle for Minshew, big time.
Love that, Cello.
Me too.
Great. That is a great point.
I think so too. I think he's going to be ready to go and licking his chops for this opportunity.
Oh, he can't wait to play this game.
And we're getting 4.5.
This is his Super Bowl.
Yep, 100%.
Okay. NFC North battle here. Vikings -2.5 on Chicago. Wow. I mean, how could
Well,
this only be 2.5? They're just begging you to bet
well,
on Minnesota.
obviously the news of the week is Justin Jefferson went on
Yeah,
IR.
that's all.
So, Kendrick Osborne, you got the rookie Addison, maybe Hawkinson gets some more touches. Madison's been terrible for them. They signed Cam Akers. They kind of gave him like 5 or 6 carries. They're kind of working him in. I think eventually Cam Akers will probably be the starting running back on that team. I just
This
think
guy
it's probably
Addison is questionable, by the way.
yeah, Madison hasn't been good either. But the thing is, I really you got to be impressed with Justin Fields the last 2 weeks. He's been lighting it up.
Mhm.
The Bears are playing better. They got that first win. I like the Bears this week. I'm
Really?
taking them. Yeah, I'm taking them. I'm taking
Yeah,
them.
and
Minnesota's
also
defense is terrible.
historically, Minnesota has not played well in Chicago. Like all things aside, they usually lose this game. I think even when the Bears are bad, they find a way to win this game at in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
I don't know the exact numbers on that, but I know that happens to be a trend.
And I
But
think
I'm with you.
if the weather's bad in Chicago, which it may be in that whole like central mid central west there, whatever, if you get
Yeah.
that bad weather, that's an advantage for the Bears.
Yeah, and I heard I mean I'm not that excited about Chicago. I kind of feel like that was you know, the whole thing with Butkus dying was I really believe that influenced their performance in that one. They were a desperate team. They hadn't won a game yet, but I'm not ready to be like, okay, the Bears are back and going to be competitive yet.
Well, they should have
No.
beaten Denver at home. They had a 28-7 lead and their defense let it get away,
Yeah.
in
I
that
just
last game. So
I haven't changed my opinion
they
about
should be 2-3, the Bears. I mean, they should be, in my opinion, they let that game get away, but they should be 2-3. I think the Bears, I think Fields is figuring it out. I think that first win was huge.
yeah.
And DJ Moore, that combination of Fields to Moore is special.
Yeah.
And it finally showed up last week and dominated, man. They were like, that looked like Burrow to Chase to me.
Yeah.
Exactly what it looked like. And I think that's just going to continue. I think they're going to steamroll Minnesota. Minnesota's not good. They're talking about trading Cousins. They just lost Jefferson. I mean, they're reeling.
They may start to unravel. I'm with you on the Bears on this game very reluctantly. I don't want it to be in our top five. But let's see what unfolds between now and then. But I will say I still don't trust Fields. Like, yeah, okay, he had a good game, but I still think he is
2 games in a
prone
row,
to
he had good games.
make big mistakes. And he holds the ball too long. He holds the
Against
ball.
Minnesota's defense, why don't you look up and tell me
I
where you
know.
have them ranked?
No, trust me, they
They're
don't.
30th.
Well, hold on, I'll tell you. I have them ranked. Uh, First of all, I have the Bears ranked 29th. So that's why
Yeah,
I'm
the
not
Bears
that
defense
excited
is not
about
good.
Minnesota
And
is
the
um
mid 20s.
17th.
Okay.
So their defense is 19th, offense 12th. I mean, you can't argue with Cousins' numbers.
Yeah,
He's
but they lost their
they put
number
up.
one receiver,
I
Jack.
know,
You
I
know,
know.
you take Jamar Chase off Cincinnati, how are Burrow's numbers?
Well, it's my point is I'd rather lose Chase than Burrow, and I'd rather lose Jefferson than Cousins. Like Cousins is the quarterback. He'll find
I
someone
know.
else to throw to.
I get it, but
You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah.
I
My
like
point
Chicago.
is
I'm taking Chicago.
okay.
I
I'm
believe I
with
believe in I believe in Fields, and Fields in fantasy is the hottest quarterback the last 2 weeks in the league, and he's got a shot here to keep it going against what I think is a bad Minnesota secondary.
yeah. Yeah, I'm reluctant. You know what? I'm not I'm taking Vikings.
Okay, 2.5.
I think it's just it's kind of an overused like buy low sell high, but man, is this an opportunity to do both on both teams? Like everyone's
Okay.
so high on Chicago after that win. People are so down on Minnesota because they lost Jefferson. My theory is, you know what? Next, who's Jefferson's backup? Get him in the lineup. Cousins is going to throw to 5 different receivers. Yeah, they don't have a great pass rush. They have a
KJ
terrible
Osborne
defense. And he'll
and
find someone
Addison.
else to throw it to.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Let's move on. New England is playing Vegas. I mean, New England, can they recover from a 34-0 beating at home? Back to back
Josh,
horrible weeks for Belichick and this team.
Josh McDaniel against Belichick could be interesting.
Ah,
You know,
three
this
and
is
a
like sort of yeah, you have that big angle there of the the coordinator facing the head coach, and
yeah.
normally that doesn't work out too well for the coordinator.
I thought Vegas looked pretty good against
Green
um
Bay,
Green Bay the other night. Yeah.
yeah. Listen,
And
Vegas
by the
has some
way,
stars.
how funny was it that Gerard when the kick he bet laid 5.5 on a live bet and needed that field goal at the end of the game to go in. And
Doink. How about how both the Carlson kids were kicking in the same game, and the whole family was there, and that kicker on the Raiders never fucking misses. He missed like 2 field goals. I would be like, Dad, you're never coming to another fucking game
Oh
again.
my god!
What
Tell
a disaster.
being in that apartment with him when that happened was worth the whole night.
Ah, it's so
Okay.
great. His reaction.
No.
So good.
Are you kidding me?
I know. So
So
makeable
great.
for him too. I mean, listen, I had Jimmy G he basically did just enough, to get
Yep.
that win. He had a couple nice drives. Jacobs is good. Devontae Adams is nicked up, but he plays. But saying that, and listen, I told you last week that when we talked about how much we like Dallas, that Judon and Gonzalez were out for the year. And
Mm-hmm.
the first week after you lose those kind of guys on defense, it's very hard to adjust. I kind of think in this game, this is the return of that of last year where they were in Vegas and they did that whole stupid thing where they were lateraling.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
You
Yes.
remember that? And then
Of
lost the
course.
game. They were tied, and for
Yeah.
some reason they started throwing the ball backwards.
Yeah.
And I think was it Chandler Jones that picked it up and ran it in.
Yes.
Someone on their line did.
Yeah.
So
Chandler Jones. Well, he
I think that
intercepted it.
I think that's going to be fresh in their mind. I don't know if New England has the horses, but I mean, I would think if there was going to be a time where they would bounce back, it would be this week.
Yeah.
And and they're getting points, right?
They're getting 3.5.
I
I
like
just
New
think
England.
that's like
I'm taking New England.
me too. I think that's like the wrong line. This is a 2.5 type game, like or a 1-2, but like a kind of like less than a field goal for the Raiders. They're not that impressive. And this is a bad game. Like I do not want this to make it into our top 5, but I'm with you. I agree that I think they can cover this number.
Listen, Mac Jones has been horrendous. They're talking about Kraft this week saying Belichick is not going to be allowed to write his own exit off the team. And if things don't improve, that Kraft will make a move.
Well,
So,
do you think we see Zappy this week? Like, is he going to
no,
get benched?
I do
No,
not. I think they're going to ride with Mac Jones. I think
he came
Dallas's
in
defense.
last. Well, so he came in last week. I was just looking at, okay, so with 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter, you think that was just purely to keep Mac healthy?
Yeah, dude, that game was over.
Yeah.
That game was over.
And
I'm
he
going to
didn't
take.
play
I'm
well
taking the
either.
points. I think Belichick. This is a game that means something to him personally against McDaniel,
Yep.
and I think they got to figure this thing out, and they're going there to win this game. I don't know whether they're going to come out with the win, but I'll take the 3.5 points and hope they keep it close.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay. Detroit's laying 3.5 on the road to Tampa. They lost this game in week 1 of this season. So this is a revenge game. It's 3.5 too many on the
What are you
road
talking
against.
about? They lost this game in week 1.
Yeah,
What?
Tampa beat Detroit.
No, they beat Minnesota.
Oh, you're right. My bad. My bad.
Yeah, Detroit has one loss.
To
They
Seattle.
lost to Seattle.
Right. Okay. Right. We had Tampa in that game. Okay, sorry. My bad. Detroit, is this
Is Amon St. Brown back?
let me look.
Because I got to tell you, I
Yeah,
really like.
yeah.
He is back.
Practice in full today.
Okay. Yeah, that's good for them because
Laporta, questionable.
they're going to need everything they have to get to get past Tampa. I like Tampa's defense. I like the way Baker's playing. Um, this is a tough game for Detroit, I think. Really
Yeah.
tough.
Hmm.
I like Tampa with 3.5 at home.
Mike Evans limited on Thursday. He's a questionable. He's a big one. I'm with you on this, given with a close eye on Mike Evans. I think he's a must, right?
Of course.
If he doesn't play, I'm off. Um, but I agree that I think Tampa's defense is tough. They're not as good as Detroit as a team, but can they hang around in this game and maybe steal it? Yeah, I
Well,
think
I
they
think
can.
Tampa can stop the run. So I don't think Montgomery is going to have the success that he's used to having. So these yards that he earns are going to be tough yards.
Hmm.
Tampa's defense is pretty good, I think, against the run. So it's going to be tough sledding for him. But the thing, and Goff, listen, I don't see a lot of stats for Goff in this game. I mean, I think this is going to be a low scoring. I mean, I know Detroit scores 20 every week. So when I say low scoring, I mean under 30 points
Yeah,
for
I have
Detroit.
their defense ranked third right now. That's crazy. They're surprisingly
Detroit's
stout.
very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, their
Um,
defense is very, very good.
so that's interesting for
Tampa's
Baker.
like 15th or whatever, I think, somewhere in the middle. Um,
Yeah, Tampa Bay I have ranked 14th overall, which is, that's respect.
this I could see this game 20-17,
Yeah.
23-20. And if I'm getting 3.5 and I have Baker at home, I'm gonna take the 3.5.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Okay.
I think it's too many, man. There's a lot of tight games this week, aren't there?
There are, yeah.
This is a very tough handicap. Okay, let's get to the afternoon card. I think that's probably the last 1 o'clock game. We got Arizona, Rams, NFC West battle. Arizona's getting 6.5. Uh,
You've
Rams
been on
are at
Arizona all year,
Philadelphia.
but I think the big thing that coming out of last game is James Connor's on IR.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know much about their backup kid, even though I did pick him up in fantasy because he was the number one pickup, and I needed a running back, but I don't know what that means. I've never seen the kid play. Um, but James Conner is kind of do it all kind of guy, And the Rams have played really, really well. And the second week with Cup, I
Is
got to
that
figure
Ingram you're
stat.
talking about?
What's that?
You talking about Ingram?
No, I forget his name. Something with an E, but not Ingram.
Yeah, DeMarcado.
Yeah, that guy. DeMarcado. But I got to say, I've been impressed with Stafford. I think they're going to be able to protect him and give him a pocket. And with Nakua and Cup, Especially and Williams running the ball. I think the Rams are going to win this game easily. I
Hmm.
like the Rams this week a lot.
Oh, these NFC West underdogs have just been doing so well again. I'm tempted to take Arizona in this game, thinking that they can hang around. I think the number is too much, and that's 6.5. It's not 7.5. It's not seven. It's that 6.5. Yeah, and I think I'm gonna stay with Arizona. I keep riding them.
You do. You love
Yeah,
Arizona.
yeah. And even though they lost to Cincy, I looked at the stat line in that game. They were actually competitive.
Yeah, Dobbs has been good.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I think Stafford at home with Cup, I think Cup and Nakua together when he learns how to use them. Now they're trading Van Jefferson because they kind of realize they don't need him. Nakua is so good, and no one's been able to stop this kid, Kieran Williams. So, and obviously you have Donald on the defensive line, who's a dominant player, and the Rams defense has played a lot better than advertised coming into the season. So at home, I would think the Rams are going to cover this game. I mean, you're talking about just winning by a touchdown.
Yeah.
I think they're way better on paper, especially without James Conner. I mean, you have a backup running back for Arizona for a team that isn't the most prolific passing team to begin with. So I'm going to take my chances with the Rams.
Yeah. I have Arizona ranked 21st, Rams 18th. It's close. 10th. Their defense is terrible, Arizona. That's what scares me. They're ranked 30th here.
Yes, it is.
But guess what? The Rams is ranked 27th.
Mm-hmm.
They have the better offense. The offense, and it's very similar. I don't know. I kind of feel like what the way you and the way we've been talking about every other division matchup this week. I don't know why this one would be the exception. So like I think that this visiting team can keep it within a field goal here and just either win or lose it at the end.
All right, you're on Arizona.
Yep. Okay. We've got, hold on, Philly at the Jets. 6.5 on the road. Man, I'm not getting in front of this train. Still don't think Philly's played their best ball, even though they're undefeated. The Jets made us sweat that win out last week. Like I cannot believe.
Did they
We
ever?
talked about it earlier. I can't believe how many scoring opportunities they left on the table and had to rely on their defense at the end, chasing down Russell Wilson, getting it done. Thank God. But man, did they make us sweat out that victory? And we didn't
Yeah.
have to. We shouldn't have. But man, their offense is terrible. And if they do that this week against Philly, they're going to get destroyed, aren't they?
Well, I'll tell you. Well, first of all, you should know the Jets have never beaten the Eagles in the history of their franchise.
Mm-hmm.
They have never beaten the Eagles.
Wow. Okay, I don't see that changing. That's a good proof point for me. What else? What else you got? You like the Jets?
I don't like teams second week in a row on the road. You know that. So the Eagles
Mhm.
just went out to L.A. Now they come home. Then they got to go up the pike to the Jets. Eagles have
This
not been.
is a it's a
Eagles have
quick,
not been.
as we know, it's a quick ride.
They have not been super impressive to me. The Eagles at
Yeah.
all. I don't think. I know the defense played very well in the second half last week.
Mm-hmm.
The concern I have with the Jets really is Vera Tucker. Their best lineman is out for the year. He ruptured his Achilles. So the Jets are thin on the offensive line to begin with. And Philly's D line, the way they rotate guys in, I mean, they're devastating. I mean, I don't understand how the Jets are going to move the ball consistently enough. I want to like the Jets with the points because I think that's a lot of points, and I think their defense can sort of hang with
Mm-hmm.
Philly in this game. Um, but man, I just don't know how they're going to really be able, unless Zach can beat them with the pass, because Philly's susceptible to the pass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I really struggled with this game. I thought about this game a lot today when I saw the line, and I would say to myself, if the line went to 7.5, I would take the Jets because I think they're going to be within one score in
Mm-hmm.
this game somehow. They
Yeah.
have enough with Brees Hall. If he can get, all he has to do is get to the second level and he's gone. He showed us that last week. Problem is the Eagles are so damn good up front, and the Jets struggle on the offensive line, and they just lost their best lineman. So this is where I'm struggling. Not so much with Zach Wilson anymore. Zach Wilson's kind of impressed me a little bit the last couple weeks. Throwing to the tight end a lot. He's taking the check down a lot when he has to. He's running when he has to. He's sliding. He's using Garrett Wilson when he's supposed to. Philly, you can beat Philly in the secondary. So it's really tough because Philly just hasn't lost the game. So and they never lose to the Jets. So it's hard to like the Jets here, let's be honest, but especially at 6.5. But
Yeah.
I will monitor that line. And my inclination is to take the Jets here because I think it's a 1-score game.
Okay.
That's my inclination.
Yeah. I'm on Philly. I think I hear what you're saying about the 2 weeks in a row on the road, but I kind of feel like, I mean, we both know this is just right up the turnpike from Philly. And the Jets offense still very troubling to me. I know that they showed some flashes against the Chiefs, and maybe they'll play a very similar game to that. Like that wouldn't totally surprise me if they were in this game at the end. But they're as we always say, they're still the Jets, and against a team like Philly, you just cannot make the kind of mistakes or like think you're going to win games kicking field goals against the Eagles like they did against Denver. Like they'll get blown out.
Yeah, it's too much talent.
Yeah.
Eagles have too much talent across the board. I mean, they have the best offensive line in football. They have, arguably a top 3 quarterback in football, 2 amazing receivers, a really good tight end, the best defensive line in football. And yet Phillies had struggled, I think, this year to really impress. I mean, they haven't played their best game. The Jet defense is very good. They have a good front four, which I think can kind of hold their own against. It's a fascinating game in a lot of ways because Sauce is going to be, they don't move Sauce around. He stays on his side of the field.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're going to say, so Sauce will be on Devontae and he'll be on AJ Brown whenever they go to his side.
Yeah.
I wonder if Reed's coming back. Reed missed last week. He's the other corner on the Jets, and he's very good. He did not play last week. Not that they needed him as much against Denver, but I'm inclined to think the Jets will keep this close. Man, I'd love to get 7.5 here. I'd feel so much better about it. So we'll monitor the line and we'll agree to disagree on this. You have Philly, I have the Jets, but
I think he'll be back. He's just like, you can't come back from a concussion anymore within the week, but that was last week that he had to miss for Denver.
right.
And he, you know what I mean? It takes,
Yeah, no, they're really
10 days
careful.
now.
They're careful with the concussions, and they should be.
Yeah.
All these guys with CTE and crazy stuff going on when they retire. It's nuts.
Yeah. Well, now it's all like testing and paperwork, you know?
Hey, I'm getting real excited. It's opening night for the New York Rangers tonight up in Buffalo, 7:00 start. They're dropping the puck on a new season, baby. Hockey. Let's go.
All right. Well, we're probably going to wrap up right before they drop it. So let's go on into the Sunday night game, which is our other New York team, the Giants, coming off an embarrassing loss to Miami, going to play Buffalo after coming back from London with their head between their legs. 14.5. Is that enough? I kind of think
No.
that is.
My feeling on this game is simple. Daniel Jones has a bad neck. He may not even play. If he doesn't play, it's Tyrod Taylor. I don't know if that's such a bad thing because Taylor's been with Dable for a while. He was with him in Buffalo.
I like him.
He knows the system.
Yeah.
The thing is, if Saquon doesn't play and Andrew Thomas is still not practicing, who's their best lineman, they're also missing their center. I mean, the Bills' defensive line is going to feast. They have real Pro Bowlers on that line. And Josh Allen coming off a loss where he's angry. I don't know who the hell's going to cover Diggs. They're going to get boat raced in this game. The Giants. 100%. Boat raced. 42 to 10, 42-17, something like that. Unless Saquon and Thomas play. And again, we won't know that till Saturday or Sunday. So
yeah, we have an opportunity. We'll see. Like we have an opportunity here with all three, with Waller, Saquon, and Daniel Jones. Who knows if they all suit up? Then
listen, if they all suit up, I'll take the 14.5.
But all three have to.
Yeah, it's got to be Thomas, Saquon, and Waller, all of them. If Thomas doesn't play and Saquon, those are the guys that have been out. The Giants can't win. They have absolutely zero chance. Even when those guys play, they're 50-50 to win.
Yeah.
But 14.5, I'll take if those guys play.
Okay. Um, TBD, but I think we're both leaning Buffalo, but there could be some late breaking news that gets us.
It's all about the injuries. This game is very important. It's a Sunday night game, so you'll have plenty of time to
Yeah.
follow what's going on with the players. It's super important when you're betting, obviously, to know who's in and who's out.
Yep. Totally agree. All right. Last game of the week, Dallas. Hmm, were you right about that game? And I was wrong.
Boy, oh boy.
They're playing the Chargers Monday night. They are laying 1.5. Do they bounce back and have a great game, or what are you thinking here? I think we'll see a nice performance out of Dallas coming off that loss. And as far as the Chargers go, I don't know. I'm on Dallas in this game. I'm not trying to complicate it. I think that was a horrible loss for them and for the franchise, and it reminded them that they're not. That performance by the 49ers was so dominant.
Yes.
They looked like the best team in the league, hands down.
100%.
Yeah.
They dominated Dallas in every way.
Yep.
Purdy looked like Montana.
Mm-hmm.
Christian McCaffrey was having his way. Ayuk, you
Everyone.
name it. Kittle had 3
it.
touchdowns.
Yep.
Kittle had the game of his life this
Dak
year.
played horrible.
Well, I knew he would. I told you I thought Dak would throw at least 2 interceptions. He threw 3.
He played. He could not have played worse.
He's not good on the big stage, I got to say. And also, remember, they lost Trayvon Diggs, and you don't just replace your lockdown corner. This is a problem for teams that lose their number one corner. It happened to Buffalo too. They lost White. The backup guy is not as good. So all of a sudden now you got number one wide receivers running routes against these guys that are not true lockdown corners. That's a real problem for teams. You don't just get by that. I think in this game, there's a lot of people. By the way, I read that Mike McCarthy has not left the facility since they landed.
Is that right?
Yes, he has just been obsessed with getting this team ready to figure out what the hell he did wrong, how the offense can be better, all of these things. So Dallas is going to come in, I think, razor sharp in this game. Chargers are coming off a bye. They have a coach that I absolutely hate, who I think is absolutely I don't even know how the guy's employed every week going for this, my issues with him with the analytics and going for it all the time and never punting and blah, blah, blah. But I will say this. Chargers offense is very good. Mm-hmm. And I bet you they get Eckler back. And I bet you they come into this game 100% ready to go. And they're going to be a handful for Dallas. Yeah. This is a real offense again that they're facing on the road again. I'm not so fast to take Dallas in this game. And Khalil Mack, the last time he played, had 6 sacks in a game. So if they start to figure out the defense, Dallas just could be reeling here. I'm going to take the Chargers.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pollard he was limited today in practice. So
that hurts Dallas if Pollard doesn't play.
Yeah. Okay. I like to see, I'm thinking a big bounce back performance for Dallas to make them get the taste of that San Francisco loss out of their mouth.
You're not alone. There's a lot of people that think that's going to happen. Obviously, I think Herbert is better than Dak. And I think Keenan Allen is just as good or better than Lamb. And I think that Eckler is better than Pollard. And on the defensive side, I mean, yeah, they have Micah Parsons, who is, let's face it, we've said it before, he's a top 3 defensive player in the league. But Khalil Mack and Bosa are no pushovers. Mm-hmm. Is Joey Bosa playing finally off the bye? I would think he'd be ready.
Let me look. I'm just looking overall. I have Dallas ranked 12th now. Wow, that's so crazy. And the Chargers ranked 13th.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a tale of two different, Dallas's defense I have ranked 8th. Chargers 22nd.
Yeah. But this is
and Dallas offense 19th and the Charger offense 5th.
Yeah, this is like a coin flip game with the line though, right? It's 1.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to take the home dog on Monday night. I think the Chargers, despite their coach, who's a moron, will find a way to win and win their 3rd game in a row, despite how dumb their coach is. They've actually overcome the last 2 games, 2 of the dumbest decisions by the coach, and still managed to win. I think this will be the 3rd game in which they do so.
Hmm.
in a row.
Okay. We disagree. I'm on Dallas. And that wraps up all the picks. So basically, the games that we agree on that we've got to narrow it down from are 8 games. We got to narrow it down to 5. We both like the Chiefs. That's tonight, by the way. So are we agreeing that we're not going to play the Chiefs tonight? Because
I
if we
wouldn't. I wouldn't play the Chiefs Thursday night. We haven't had great luck on Thursday nights. I would say let's
actually
throw
we're
that
two and
one.
one. We're 2-1 on Thursdays. Looks like.
Are we?
Yeah, yeah, we're actually good. I mean, it sucks to start the week like that, and maybe because you're going to be distracted by the Rangers, we shouldn't bet on this. But I don't see how. I don't like laying this many points.
It's a division game.
I know. All right, fine. We'll stay away, but I'm gonna be mad at myself if they blow them out.
I have Kansas City in a bet at Wana. I have a KC under reverse.
Okay. So we like the Chiefs, we like the Ravens, we like the 49ers, barring any major sort of news about Deshaun Watson, and only laying 5.5 compared to where market is, which is 7 or 8. We
I
both
don't like the 49ers. I like
oh
Cleveland.
oh okay, my bad. That's right. You do.
I'm on Cleveland. I think that's a one score game. I think Cleveland's going to give them a really hard time.
Oh, you know what game we didn't do actually is the Saints Houston game.
Ooh, where's that?
That's in Houston. That's I don't know how I skipped that, but basically I had both of our picks for the San Francisco Cleveland game on that one. Let's do that real quick.
What's that line?
Saints are laying 1.5.
Yeah, listen, Houston went and lost a tough game last week at the buzzer to Woo-Koo Kim, or what I always get his name wrong, but the kicker for Atlanta, Shung Kwei Kim got the win as he normally does at home for Atlanta, and they squeezed one out. I like this kid Stroud, and I like what Houston's been doing. They're getting points at home. I think they could beat the Saints at home.
You think?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see where I have these guys ranked. Saints, I got ranked 10th. Man, Saints are so tough.
They're really tough, man. The Saints are really, really tough.
Yeah, I'm sticking with them. I like New Orleans in this game. Houston where are they?
They play hard, man, Houston. They're in a lot of close games. They have a good offense. He throws for 300 yards a
Yeah,
game.
ranked
Derek
60.
Carr is now he's a little bit, I guess his shoulder's feeling a little bit better. He played better last week. They absolutely annihilated New England, but they won that game on defense. The field position was always in their favor, the turnovers, all this stuff. So, second week in a row on the road. I hate that. You know that about me. I'm taking Houston at home.
Okay. I like the Saints. I think it's their defense is too good for young CJ, and they'll find a way to shut him
You
down.
really are going against a lot of your Ohio State. I've never seen you more animus against Ohio State guys than this week. Vrabel, Fields, Stroud. I mean, is there anybody else that you don't like from your old school?
Yeah, actually, if you go through our like alumni, they're on every team. So
Olave,
I like plenty of teams that yeah,
Garrett
exactly.
Wilson. Yeah, nothing
Olave and
nice to
Michael
say
Thomas.
about Garrett Wilson this time. I mean, my God.
I like Olave and Michael Thomas.
Hey, there's Sam Rosen another year. Look at him. He's looking just a little bit heavier. The hair's a little bit further back on his head. Chin's a little bit bigger.
Okay, so that's not one of the games we agree on. Let me take that off. So it's the Chiefs, Baltimore, Miami, the Colts getting 4.5 against the Jags, New England, Tampa, and Buffalo. Wow, that's kind of an ugly cropping of games.
I like that. The uglier they are, the more I like them.
Really? I hate it. I think we need to reevaluate like how many good teams we have in
We'll
this.
talk about it over Sunday. I mean,
We
listen,
will,
we have till
and
then. There's a lot of injury stuff before then.
Yep. So thanks for joining everybody. And once again, to get those are our consensus picks. Hope it was helpful. Hope to see everyone at the site this weekend at wannamakabet.com. Leagues are heating up. All the October leagues are still cranking. There's free leagues that we're giving away cash for. The October All Sports League has got hockey, has got baseball playoffs, has got college football and NFL. That's like a true degenerate league. And the more people that play, the more cash we give away. So get into that. And we will have our picks narrowed down to our top 5 no later than Sunday morning. So look on the website, look on the blog, look at the newsletter, and we wish you all luck with your picks.
And one more thing, Jack, this is sports are a great way to get people to sit back and relax and get their minds off real things. I would be remiss if we didn't mention what went on this week, the horrific thing that went on in Israel this week, and all the lives that were lost, and obviously all of our Jewish friends thinking about, and obviously my wife and kids are Jewish, and it's just been really tough watching this stuff and seeing all the videos and everything. And I would just say, prayers go out to those families, and God bless, the IDF and whatever they need to do to get this done, because you got to get the scourge of the Hamas wiped off the planet. I mean, it is just like ISIS. They have to be crushed. And I just hope they have the fortitude and the mental strength and whatever they need to do to get the job done. So prayers to them, and to everyone who's going through this horrible tragedy. I don't know what else to say about it, but I felt like I had to say something
Yeah.
about it.
Well said. I didn't want to get political on our football podcast, but and I won't. But yeah, my heart goes out to everybody there who's involved. And it's look, as I used to live in Israel when I was younger.
Yep.
I did my freshman year of college there, and I got to see up close this conflict. And it was, it was a little less severe than it is today, but it ebbs
Sure.
and flows, and it has for 2,000 years. And I hate to say it, but most likely will for another 2,000. So it's sad, it's heartbreaking, and I wish peace to the region as soon as possible. And I know it's gonna be ugly, and the path to get there is gonna leave a lot more people to lose their lives, unfortunately. And the whole thing's unfortunate, but it
Yeah.
is what it is. And I'm with you. I'm sending my best to friends and family who were involved with what happened this past week, and hope it comes to an end soon.
I agree. Well said.
All right, my man. Everybody, good luck with your picks. Stay safe, and we will be in touch very soon. Have a
Conserve
good
those units. Bet with your head, not over it.
night.